David's culture shock, learning to adapt in Japan. When David Parker arrived in Tokyo, Japan, for his one-year university exchange program, he was thrilled. He had always been fascinated by Japanese culture. He loved anime, sushi, and samurai history. This is going to be amazing, he thought. But within the first week, he realized that visiting a country and living there were two very different things. The first shock, the language barrier. David had studied Japanese for 2 years, but in real-life conversations, people spoke so fast that he could barely understand them. At a ramen shop, he tried to order in Japanese. Sumimasen, ramen o hitatsu kudasai. Excuse me, one ramen please. The waiter responded with a long sentence in rapid Japanese. David froze. Hi, yes. The waiter smiled and pointed to a chart with different ramen options. David felt embarrassed but grateful. Not knowing the language well made simple tasks feel stressful. The second shock, social norms. David was used to being friendly with strangers, smiling at people, and making small talk. But in Japan, he noticed that people avoided direct eye contact on trains. Strangers didn't talk to each other randomly. Personal space was very important. One day, he greeted his Japanese classmate, Hiro, with a big handshake and a pat on the back. Hiro looked surprised and uncomfortable. Later, another classmate explained. In Japan, people usually bow instead of shaking hands, and physical contact isn't common. David realized he had to observe and learn instead of assuming his own culture's habits were universal. The third shock, food and daily life. David had always loved sushi, but after a week in Japan, he missed American food, burgers, fries, and pizza. One night, craving something familiar, he found a McDonald's, but when he ordered, he was shocked. The portion sizes were much smaller, no free refills on drinks. People ate quietly, no loud talking. Even fast food was different. From frustration to adaptation, at first, David felt overwhelmed. Maybe I don't belong here, but instead of giving up, he decided to embrace the experience. He practiced Japanese daily even if he made mistakes. He observed and followed social norms, learning to bow instead of shaking hands. He tried more Japanese foods, like natto fermented soybeans and okonomiyaki savory pancakes. Slowly, Tokyo started to feel like home. One evening, as he ate ramen at his favorite shop, the same waiter from before smiled and asked him a question. This time, David understood and responded without hesitation. Wakarimasu, I understand, the waiter laughed, and David felt a wave of pride. He was no longer just an outsider, he was adapting. From culture shock to cultural appreciation. By the end of his year in Japan, David had grown in ways he never expected. He learned that culture shock is normal, but adapting to a new culture makes you more open-minded, patient, and understanding. As he boarded his flight back to the U.S., he smiled. I came to Japan thinking I knew everything about the culture, but I'm leaving with so much more. Lessons from the story. 1. Culture shock is real, but it's part of the learning process. 2. Observe and adapt. Don't assume your way is the only way. 3. Language barriers can be frustrating, but practice makes progress. 4. Trying new things, food, habits, traditions makes adjusting easier. 5. Over time, an unfamiliar place can start to feel like home.